Good morning, all. Good morning, all. Happy Friday. It's a little dreary outside, but that's okay. We are here, we are up, and we are engaged for the day to make sure that we're presenting ourselves in our best for our young men. Welcome, gentlemen and families that may be listening as well at home, and all the staff that are on the line as well. Welcome to another Friday and another town hall where we have a really great opportunity to connect with you young men and to do things slightly different. Not just in the way of math, ELA, social studies, or science, but Fridays are really dedicated to you all having the ability to connect more with yourselves, to learn more about who you are as young men, and to make sure that you understand what characteristics are truly anchors for what you're going to need to thrive and survive moving forward as young men in this society. We don't know what we don't know until it's exposed to us what we don't know. And oftentimes our learning will take us to a place where we're going to be uncomfortable and trying to figure out, how do I take this newfound information that may be given to me on a Friday or in a house meeting or at any other time, and how do I apply it for myself? I hear what Principal Hall or other administrators or what my educators are telling me that I should do, but how do I take a look at these things, apply it, master it, and grow as a young man? Our core values are very simple. We know exactly what they are. We recite them all the time. For some of my new sixth graders, you should know these things. You should be acclimated to them. They should be ingrained in your brain. But clear confidence and leadership and effort and academic excellence and resilience are all very important, gentlemen. I don't want to take anything away from the importance of confidence, leadership, effort, academic excellence, and resilience. But there's actually another characteristic that I've always personally gravitated towards. And unfortunately, it doesn't fit as nice and neat in an acronym the way that CLEAR does, or sometimes SOAR and other things. But the letter G is a letter that's not often neatly fit into acronyms. But G is important because G is the letter that starts the word grit. And grit is something, gentlemen, that you need more now than ever, and probably more than anything else you've actually had to wake up into your morning and put on. You need to put on your grit. Grit is defined as the following. It's a psychological term that is used to say the following. Grit is a positive, non-cognitive trait based on an individual's perseverance. I'll say that again. Based on a person's perseverance of effort combined with the passion for a particular long-term goal or end state. I'm going to read that for you one more time. Grit in psychology is a positive, non-cognitive trait based on individuals' perseverance of effort combined with the passion for a particular long-term goal or end state. So first of all, you need to recognize that grit is not a short game. Grit is not something that you simply just put on and take off frequently. Grit actually, in its definition of perseverance, means that you must commit to enabling grit. You must have grit to have grit. You must know what perseverance means. Perseverance means that no matter what happens, you still move forward. And when you apply grit into your character profile, gentlemen, you will understand what it means to persevere through anything and do so in a way that makes you successful, no matter what the circumstances. We are surrounded by circumstances right now. So many circumstances. So many circumstances. COVID-19 is a circumstance. And many people like to clump quarantine and COVID-19 together. No. COVID-19 is the virus and the illness that unfortunately has taken so many and that has put us in a state of paralyzation around the world and paralysis. But quarantine was something different. That's a whole other situation. That's a whole other circumstance. Mental health, physical health, academic health, relational health with siblings and parents and guardians at home, and that struggle. Not being able to access things socially the way that you once did. Not being able to pull up to basketball tournaments in great numbers the way that you once did. Not being able to go to your place of worship on a Sunday morning with your family and activate those very same traditions of getting up and getting together and getting dressed and going to a service and having a meal after, and that really family-oriented Sunday that many of us culturally can gravitate to, but we couldn't do those things. That's a circumstance. School in this town hall being delivered to you through a Zoom instead of in a gymnasium in person, that's a circumstance. And we could have very easily thrown our hands up in March. We could have very easily thrown our hands up in April. We could have very easily, y'all get it. But we haven't. We persevered through. Because those of us that understood the importance of survival and our need to continue to shuffle our feet forward, no matter how gritty the sand underneath, we understood that that grit was a motivating factor to push our feet forward and continue to persevere through all of the various circumstances. But at the end of the day, gentlemen, survival is not an option. It never has been and never will be. People like to think it is. It's not. You will survive. You will persevere. And you don't do it just by saying, I'm going to do it. You do it by saying it. Then you do it by believing it. And then you do it by putting it to action. And that's the passion that the definition talks about. You don't activate grit lightly. You don't activate perseverance and survive circumstances casually. You have to do it with a fervor, a fire, and an energy that we know as passion. Gentlemen, when you put passion behind your perseverance and the perseverance as the foundation of your grit, gentlemen, you stay standing and afloat. And for the moments in time that you lose your footing, you're able to get back up because you are passionate about what you do. When you gentlemen are passionate about something, you dedicate so much of your energy, life, and power to it. Think about your video games. Think about your social media. My iPhone likes to tell me every day how many hours and how much time I spent in all these various apps on my phone, social media, the internet, games. My iPhone time tells me where I put my passion for that day. And you know what, gentlemen? When it's the darkest and when it's the most difficult, I divert my passion into the things that matter the most. So my question to you is, are you going to activate your grit and put your passion into the things that matter the most? Are you going to stand by, put your passion into things that don't progress you, move you forward, fuel your perseverance, and you don't survive? I told you don't have an option. So the answer is you will put your passion into perseverance. You will put your passion into grit, and you will survive circumstances. Every day, a new thing pops up in our media, gentlemen. Every single hour, there's something else trying to distract us from moving forward and persevering and holding on to our grit. Grit is also defined as the following: a courage and resolve matched with a strength of character. Courage to do the things and say the things, even though it may go against the grain, but you know it's what's needed to survive. Resolve. Another way of saying to persevere, to have a resolve enough in you to be able to move forward no matter what the circumstance. And it doesn't say just to have strength, but it says strength of character, who you are. Do people see your grit? Do people see your perseverance? Do people see your passion? King T'Challa, Chadwick Boseman, put to screen Black history more than any other actor in his career and time, and gave the world and Black culture specifically a symbol and a hero to live by, to aspire to fuel the fire of hope. And he did it all while battling cancer at its final stages and never said a word to anybody. He didn't turn down the roles that he knew the culture needed. He didn't dilute his performance because of his illness, because he knew what was necessary. His grit, his perseverance, his passion, his courage, his resolve, and his strength of character as who he was, as a man, as a husband, and soon to be a father. He understood grit. No matter when people judged him, no matter when critics gave him reviews on some of his performances in certain movies, as if he wasn't doing what many people would see as impossible, he understood grit. He understood a path and a plan. He did not survive and accomplish what he did, leaving this world the gift that he did, because he sat idly, or because he waited for things to be given to him, or he waited for the world to bow or to accommodate and change itself for his circumstance. No. He activated his grit and he got the job done. And did it splendidly. And did it without needing any extra praise or accolades for having done it with cancer. He just did it because he knew he had to. It was his purpose. His grit, supported by his perseverance, his passion, courage, resolve, and his strength of character, got King T'Challa through. And got King T'Challa to give us what we all needed: to stand firm and advocate and activate social justice as best we can. So, gentlemen, be King T'Challa. Gentlemen, have a great day. I love you all. Let's go ahead. Let's have a wonderful Friday. Let's leave.